Good afternoon, Valiants. I think it's safe to say that Vale delivered the exact opposite of what was needed today. Embarrassing's not a strong enough word for 1,000 people to turn up in support of a football club, only to leave you're not fit to wear the shirt and you're going down with the Vale. Against bottom of the league, Fleetwood Town, losing 3-0. It just showcases the toxicity that this club is facing at the minute, and it's not unjust from the fans, because we genuinely do deserve better than this. It's an outright travesty. Moving on to the next segment, we've got overall team performance. We were lacklustre, second to every ball. That's the only way you can really describe it. We were just completely apathetic to the game. We were also incredibly disorganised. The defending was an absolute travesty from everybody involved. Our tactic just genuinely seemed to be pass to Nathan Smith and have him lob it up the field. That was essentially the whole point of the game for us. When we did attack, we were toothless. We had a goal disallowed for handball. You can't really moan because I don't think anybody else appealed the decision. It did actually appear to be a handball. And the closest we got legally was Ethan Chislett's free kick, which was still about 3 foot over the bar. So you can't really complain today because we have had no shots on goal. We've done nothing genuinely beneficial. We've not even looked like a threat against the bottom of the league. Next, we'll do individual player ratings. I think you can already tell where this is going to go. We're going to start at the back. So Connor Ripley, he seems to be the only person that actually does care about the club and does want to apologise for what's going on, who does play consistently well every week. And again, this week, let down by everybody else around him. He did some great saves today, 6 out of 10. His defenders are more to blame for this than he is. It's outrageous. Jakovic, Smith and Deborah, I've lumped all these together because they were all just as bad as each other. They were absolutely abysmal. As much as you want to believe these players are good enough for League One, I just don't think any of them actually are. Ever since Jakovic come back from his injury, he's been a completely different player. Nathan Smith, completely different player this season. I don't really know what's happened. It's just unbelievable how we can concede 3 goals against bottom of the league when they haven't won in like 14 games. Next we have Conor Grant. I'm convinced he's never in the right position. Slow, can't defend. I don't really understand how he's playing for the Vale. I don't know if I'm missing something, but I genuinely don't understand why people seem to defend him a lot of the time. He doesn't appear to be very good at all. I give him a 3 out of 10. I would rather have Jack Shorrock in that same position. Gavin Massey, same as every week, invisible. He doesn't ever seem to be good when he's playing. The other thing that confuses me with Gavin Massey is he is an example of a failure of the recruitment team, surely. Because when he came in, he was an out-and-out winger for Wigan. He comes here, and we're going to play him at wing-back. Now, I'm not being funny. You don't play an out-and-out winger at wing-back. It's a completely different position. So when we're signing these players, who are wingers, knowing full well that we're going to play him at wing-back, why aren't we just looking for wing-backs? I don't understand how Gavin Massey can make a start. I would rather have Ben Lomax in the same position. He was absolutely awful today. I give him a 3 out of 10. Next, we have Jensen Weir. Thought he was invisible against Portsmouth. Exact same today. Lacklustre. Useless. Worse than Dan Gore was last week, and I don't think Dan Gore should have started today if he was fit. 3 out of 10. Moving on to Jason Lowe. Useless in the midfield. Exact same story. Meant to be an experienced head to compensate for his lack of ability. Older player. So we should be, commanding respect in the midfield. Doesn't really command anything of anybody, either on their team or our team, to compensate for his lack of ability. 2 out of 10 today, thought he was shocking. Next, Ethan Chislett wasn't the worst today. He did have a free kick, scuffed it completely. Opportunity on the edge of the 6-yard box, scuffs it completely. He is playing an attacking midfielder behind the strikers. He should really be taking his chances. I'm not expecting him to be a Ben Garrity, where Ben Garrity can convert these chances all the time, but I am expecting him to at least give it a real chance. All the shots that he's taken were completely abysmal. Free kick was pretty bad, but it's a free kick, so it requires a lot of skill. I can explain that, but not the one at the edge of the 6-yard box where he sends it over the stand. No idea. Moving on, Ryan Loft. Don't think he should ever wear a Port Vale shirt again. Don't care whether it's seen as reactionary. He's not scored a goal in the league the whole time he's been here. He didn't look like scoring today. I don't think he'll score for the rest of the season. I genuinely don't think he will. If he does, he will not score more than 2 goals for the rest of the season. I'm being serious. And if it was for me, Bailey DePepper should be playing over him every single week, because he doesn't provide anything that Bailey DePepper doesn't. He doesn't really have the physical presence that Uche has. Uche Ikpeazu is a better striker than Ryan Loft in almost every category now, because he's scored a goal and he's a better physical presence. If Uche's not injured, he starts over Ryan Loft every single time, and no one rates Uche Ikpeazu at this football club. So how can Ryan Loft be worth a fee? Don't understand it at all. Ryan Loft, 2 out of 10. Next, James Wilson. Poor game by his standards today, but he does have a lot of credit in the bank, and we know how good he is because of the quality that he presents in most of his other football games. Not been brilliant, but he has to start every week, especially considering the striker shortage. We don't have much choice anyway, but he should still be starting the next game whenever we play because he is too good. My only question is he physically incapable of playing 90 minutes? Because if so, that should be something that we have to take into account at the end of this season. So I've give James Wilson 4 out of 10. Moving on to the management rating, Andy Crosby should be sacked immediately. He can't be doing any worse than he is, and we will go down under his leadership. Flitcroft is just as much to blame, though. I don't just blame Crosby because Flitcroft's recruitment has been absolutely awful. He's tied Crosby's hands anyway. I don't think any manager's really doing well now, but Crosby has to go just to give us a chance. We've got someone right now who's not even a real manager managing this football club. He should never have been given the job in the first place. It was a cheap decision. I know it was the cheap decision, but the cheap decision is going to end up with us getting relegated. So it's going to cost us more money than it would have done to recruit a proper manager in the first place. So I genuinely don't know where the thought process behind that was. I think also not giving anybody a new chance in the starting 11 is an unexplainable decision, given how poor some people were against Portsmouth. Martin come on to be arguably our best player on the field. Why is he not starting? It just doesn't make sense. We've got Ryan Loft. We could have started Martin over Ryan Loft. It wouldn't have made a difference if Martin hadn't have scored, because Ryan Loft wouldn't have scored either. Wouldn't have made a difference. Not giving anybody a new chance in the starting 11 is also an inexplicable decision, because we have got some of the worst quality in our field right now. We've got a defensive line that doesn't work against top of the league. We played them last week. It doesn't work against bottom of the league. We've played them this week, and we've lost to both of them with no reply. Defensively, we've been absolutely shocking. There's no excuses that you can make for this. We should have made a change today with Laporta, or just genuinely just start an academy player instead. Because right now, starting these players every week that aren't good enough is not going to change anything. They're going to consistently be worse and worse every week. They have been over the course of this season. They've just got worse. They're not getting any better. We signed Plant from the academy around the same time we haven't played with them. The formation also looks to be getting worse by the day. We sacrificed an attacking formation and wingers for defenders, which at the minute just has made absolutely no impact. We've got 3 centre halves instead of having 2 centre halves, and we've got wing backs instead of having full backs. But we're genuinely doing nothing defensively that looks any better than when we were playing 4 at the back. To me, it just seems stupid. We're sacrificing our attacking prowess when we were better going forward. I mean, we've had injuries, and now we have really no strikers since Ellis Harrison's left. But if we'd have had Ben Garrity fit, I would have rather had 3 people up front. I would have rather had out-and-out wingers than have 5 at the back and not be able to defend anyway. It seems to be a stupid compromise. I personally think we need a completely new system. Some people say Gareth Ainsworth, if he would come, I don't know if he would. I don't think it could hurt having Gareth Ainsworth. At least he would be a proper manager. I would prefer that to having Andy Crosby at the minute. Experience in Championship management wouldn't hurt the football club by any capacity. If Crosby has to go, then Flitcroft has to go, in my opinion. He's the reason we're so poor as an 11. His recruitment has been awful over the past 2 January windows. We signed nobody last January window except the lad on loan for Forest Green. I can't remember his name now. And this window, we've just signed loan players with no strikers coming in. Really, really confusing decisions. I don't understand. That would cost someone their job if we were now to get relegated because of that. He should get sacked if Crosby has to get sacked. I think that's only fair. I think this was evidence last season. Like I said, when he only signed 1 player in the January window, it sort of hung Darrell Clark out to dry. I understand there was some off the pitch things going on with Darrell Clark, but to hang him out to dry and to not sign anybody who can actually help the squad seems to be a really stupid decision to make. The football club was at risk then, but Darrell Clark managed to win 46 points and keep us in the league before we'd even sacked him. If Darrell Clark had stayed in the job and not won a single point from the time that we sacked him, we still would have stayed up anyway. It was a really confusing decision to sack Darrell Clark, in my personal opinion. I think he could have taken us further, but we'll never know what's really happened off the pitch, so I won't comment on that further. But if he was able to stay, we would have been able to do a lot better. And I think we do need a proper manager that can take us further. There are managers that can take us further than where we are now. We do have the capacity to go further. We know we do. Under Darrell Clark, we were playoff contenders in the first half of the first season in League One. I think the squad needs a complete revamp. I think the management needs a complete revamp. I think this football club needs to start again fresh and just get away from the past, like it did when Carroll first arrived and we had Darrell Clark in, and we forgot the previous Smurfwaite era and John Askey era. We needed a completely new, fresh start, and I think that's what this football club needs now if we are going to stay in League One. And I think even staying in League One now will be a real big struggle. If we manage to stay in League One this season, it will be done with one of the biggest accomplishments this club has ever done. Seriously, it will. thank you for watching this video on the railway stand. If you're thinking of staying home for the next few fixtures, like a lot of people are, I'm going to be there. I'll provide you with all of the news you need to know here on YouTube and also over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So like and subscribe. Our Twitter page will be in the description if you want to go and give that a follow, so you don't miss out on any of the new content. This is the railway stand, and up the Vale.